Hello, everyone. The British royal family is always in the spotlight, but the latest drama involving Meghan Markle has caught everyone's attention again. What started as a simple moment turned into a huge issue, making people wonder about Meghan's relationships, her true motives, and what she might be keeping secret from Prince Harry and the royal family. The trouble began one evening when Prince Harry borrowed Meghan's phone to look something up. What he found shocked him evidence that Meghan had deleted several personal photos of herself with Prince Andrew, Harry's uncle, who has been in the news for many scandals. This news has sent the royal family into a frenzy as they try to manage the story. When Harry realized the photos were gone from both Meghan's phone and her cloud storage, his reaction was immediate and intense. According to sources close to the couple, Harry's mood changed dramatically. His eyes became bloodshot as he realized the weight of what he had found, leading to intense confrontations, during which Meghan became defensive. Her face reportedly showed a mix of guilt and frustration. For Harry, this discovery was more than just about the photos. It offered a shocking insight into Meghan's secretive nature and her willingness to erase parts of her past. The big question on everyone's mind is why Meghan had those photos in the first place, and, even more importantly, why she felt the need to delete them so quietly. Theories are flying around, but none are more puzzling than the idea that Meghan might have had a closer relationship with Prince Andrew than anyone realized. Given Andrew's known ties to Jeffrey Epstein and his fall from grace, any connection to him carries significant risk. While some may see the deletion as a simple act of cleaning up her digital space, the context hints at a much more calculated reason. Meghan's connections to Andrew, even if they are weak, could harm her already shaky position in the royal family. As someone who has often presented herself as an advocate for social issues and a critic of outdated traditions, being linked to Andrew's scandalous past could create a public relations nightmare for her. Adding to the intrigue is Meghan's careful management of her public image. She has always been careful about what she shares with the world, showcasing her glamorous side while keeping anything less flattering out of sight. The fact that she may have gone to such lengths to delete photos of herself with Andrew raises questions about what she might be trying to hide. Is it simply embarrassment, or is there a deeper, more damaging truth that she is trying to keep under wraps? The potential fallout from Meghan's actions could reach far beyond just a few deleted photos. If Meghan's photos were truly personal or potentially damaging, removing them might have been a deliberate move to separate herself from a harmful link. But it brings up a tough question: why was there a connection to Prince Andrew in the first place? For someone who presents herself as a modern and independent royal, being linked to Andrew would be an uncomfortable reality that clashes with her public image. The idea that Meghan may have been closer to Andrew than she lets on raises doubts about her claims of challenging royal traditions and standing for progressive values. It hints at the possibility of double standards, something her critics have long suspected but couldn't confirm. Meghan's actions aren't just about protecting her own reputation, though. They're also about safeguarding her family, especially Harry, who continues to stand by her, even as the gap widens between him and the rest of the royal family. For Harry, who is already struggling with the complex relationships within the royal family, this new revelation is yet another setback, making his public story and personal loyalties even more difficult to manage. This latest controversy isn't just a one-time issue, it fits into a broader pattern of secrecy and control that seems to define Meghan's public life. From her controversial departure from royal duties to ongoing clashes with the British press, Meghan often portrays herself as a victim chased by a harsh media and misunderstood by the royal family. However, this image of being a victim is facing more and more scrutiny as new details about her private actions come to light. The removal of the photos adds to this concerning pattern. Meghan's drive to control every part of her narrative often pushes her to take drastic steps to preserve the image she wants to project. Whether it's a lawsuit against the tabloids or a carefully scripted Netflix documentary, Meghan's actions show a strong commitment to shaping her own story, even if it comes at the expense of honesty. This desire for control raises important questions about what else she might be hiding. If she is willing to go to such lengths to erase parts of her past, what other secrets could she be keeping from Harry, the royal family, or the public? Critics argue that her readiness to manage her image, even if it means stretching the truth, points to a deeper flaw in her character, one that puts her own interests ahead of her family's needs and responsibilities. As a public figure, the reactions to this latest controversy have been predictably split. Meghan's supporters rally to defend her, while her critics seize the moment to highlight this as more evidence of her two-faced nature. For those who have always been skeptical of Meghan, the news about her secretive deletions only strengthens the belief that she's a master manipulator willing to go to any lengths to protect her carefully shaped image. Even among her biggest supporters, however, there's a growing sense of discomfort. The endless controversies, each stranger than the last, are starting to feel exhausting. Meghan's story of being a misunderstood outsider loses its impact when it's overshadowed by constant secrecy and deflection. The public's trust, once a major asset for Meghan, is now seriously at risk. The consequences of this loss of trust are significant. For Meghan and Harry, their public image isn't just about personal pride, it's the foundation of their brand and essential to their financial independence. As they work to build a life separate from the royal family, maintaining public support and capturing media attention is crucial for their continued success. With each new scandal, their support weakens, leaving Meghan and Harry more isolated from the public they once won over so effectively. While Meghan has been the focus, the impact on Prince Harry cannot be overlooked. For a man who has always valued loyalty to his family, his wife, and his principles, discovering Meghan's actions feels like a deep personal betrayal. The tension between the couple, as described by insiders, shows the widening gap between Meghan's need for control and Harry's commitment to honesty. Harry's reaction, marked by clear anger and disbelief, reflects the emotional strain this incident has placed on him. He has always been Meghan's strongest supporter, willing to sever ties with his own family to stand by her, but this discovery shakes that loyalty deeply. It forces Harry to consider that Meghan's actions might be about more than just protecting herself. They also involve deceiving him. The strain on Harry is undeniable, as he struggles between his love for Meghan and his lingering sense of duty to his royal heritage. He finds himself in a situation where every choice feels like a decision between his wife and his past, creating a no-win scenario that only adds to his feeling of isolation. As this scandal continues to unfold, Harry's dilemma will likely grow even more challenging, testing the strength of his marriage and his commitment to the path he has taken. The royal family has remained characteristically silent in response to the latest controversy, a deliberate strategy that reveals their approach to handling Meghan and Harry's ongoing drama. Instead of making public statements, the palace has chosen a more subtle path, letting the scandal unfold in the media without stepping in. This strategy of silence is nothing new. It's a time-tested tactic the monarchy has used for decades, allowing public opinion to take its course. For the palace, Meghan's latest controversy is both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, it offers another chance to emphasize the Sussexes' reckless and self-centered behavior, strengthening the view that they are unsuitable representatives for the royal family. On the other hand, it also underscores the unpredictable nature of modern media, where even the most carefully kept secrets can quickly become public gossip. By remaining silent, the royal family keeps the moral high ground, presenting themselves as composed and above the chaos. This stands in stark contrast to Meghan's approach, which often involves public statements, lawsuits, and meticulously planned media appearances. The palace's restraint is not just about following protocol, it's a deliberate strategy meant to highlight the differences between the two sides. This approach subtly but effectively discredits Meghan's narrative without ever saying a word. The situation has wide-reaching implications for the entire royal brand. The monarchy, which has spent centuries building an image of stability, tradition, and duty, is now being pulled into a modern media frenzy fueled by scandals and speculation. Meghan's actions, intentional or not, disrupt the carefully maintained image of the royal family, forcing them to face issues they have long tried to avoid. For the monarchy, Meghan represents a threat not only because of her actions, but because of what she stands for: a break from tradition, a challenge to authority, and a readiness to bring private matters into the public eye. Her presence within the royal circle was always going to be divisive, but her ongoing controversies have turned her into a liability that the family can no longer ignore. The challenge is not just managing the fallout from this latest scandal, but finding a way to move forward that safeguards the royal brand while addressing the public's growing fatigue with the endless Sussex drama. This crisis is deepening, with new layers constantly unfolding. As the scandal involving Meghan Markle's deleted photos and her secret connection to Prince Andrew evolves, the story is taking unexpected turns that only add to the drama. Each new detail seems to reveal another aspect of a complex situation involving deception, power struggles, and the unrelenting scrutiny that comes with royal life. As fresh elements of the scandal emerge, they provide deeper insights into how this controversy is reshaping Meghan and Harry's public and private lives. A major concern now is the potential for leaks. Meghan's decision to delete the photos appears to be a desperate effort to control what information gets out, but the act of deletion itself raises the stakes. In a digital age where nothing is ever truly erased, rumors of other potentially compromising materials persist, creating a looming threat of more leaks that hangs over Meghan and Harry. Like a dark cloud, there are whispers from insiders suggesting that other, more damaging photos or documents might exist, materials that Meghan may not have been able to fully erase. The palace, known for its tight control over information, could be holding onto a trove of unflattering details that might be strategically leaked if Meghan and Harry continue to defy the royal family's expectations. For Meghan, the fear of further exposure goes beyond personal embarrassment. It threatens to dismantle her entire public image. This possibility adds an element of suspense to the unfolding drama, as everyone waits to see if the palace or another insider will decide to release more dirt on her. The looming threat of exposure keeps Meghan and Harry on edge, forcing them into a defensive stance that only intensifies the tension between them and the rest of the royal family. The involvement of Prince Andrew in Meghan's scandal adds a particularly explosive factor to the situation. Andrew, already shunned by much of the royal family due to his own controversies, is now being pulled back into the spotlight because of his past connection with Meghan. This unexpected link not only tarnishes Meghan's reputation, but also gives Andrew a controversial way to regain relevance, though it comes with scandal attached. Reports indicate that Andrew's current girlfriend may have prompted Meghan's decision to delete the photos, as Meghan reportedly wanted to shield Andrew's new relationship from old compromising images. This situation paints Meghan as someone who is not only trying to protect herself, but also managing the secrets of others, a role filled with complications and potential betrayals. Andrew's reemergence in this scandal could disrupt the delicate balance within the royal family. As a disgraced royal who has been attempting to maintain a low profile, his renewed association with Meghan might reignite public outrage and pull other family members into the mix, complicating their efforts to distance themselves from past scandals. The monarchy has worked hard to separate itself from Andrew's misdeeds, making this situation even more challenging. Meghan's actions serve as an unwelcome reminder of a past that refuses to stay hidden. Another layer of this unfolding drama is the impact it is having on Meghan and Harry's marriage. The discovery of the deleted photos, along with the intense arguments that followed, highlights the growing tension between the couple. Harry's reaction, marked by shock, anger, and feelings of betrayal, reveals a deeper crisis in their relationship that transcends public perception, digging into issues of personal trust and loyalty. As Harry wrestles with what he has uncovered, the cracks in their marriage begin to surface. Meghan's need for control and secrecy sharply contrasts with Harry's more open approach, especially regarding his past and his family. This fundamental difference in how they address conflict and manage their public lives is creating friction that neither seems fully equipped to confront. For Meghan, the scandal isn't just about managing her image, it's about preserving her marriage. The pressure to maintain a facade while dealing with internal conflict is immense, and the constant scrutiny amplifies every misstep. As Harry and Meghan attempt to navigate this latest challenge, the risk of their marriage unraveling under the weight of public and private tensions grows ever larger. Their media strategy has always been a crucial part of their brand, but in this scandal it seems to be failing them. In the past, they relied on carefully timed interviews, favorable coverage, and strategic leaks to portray themselves as modern, relatable royals battling against an outdated institution. However, the current crisis has exposed the limitations of this approach, as even the most tightly controlled media narrative cannot fully contain the fallout from their actions. The Sussexes' attempts to manage the story, whether through silence, carefully crafted statements, or legal threats, are increasingly met with skepticism. Public sympathy, once a dependable asset for the couple, is dwindling in the face of ongoing controversies. The belief that Meghan and Harry are not being completely honest or transparent is gaining momentum, making it increasingly difficult for them to regain control of their narrative. The failure of their media strategy is made worse by their ongoing conflict with the British press, which continues to scrutinize every detail of their lives. Instead of creating a redemptive storyline, Meghan and Harry find themselves stuck in a cycle of defensiveness and damage control that only keeps the scandal alive. Each new revelation feels like a blow to their carefully crafted image, and their inability to effectively counter the narrative is becoming more apparent. Public perception of Meghan and Harry has always been mixed, but this latest scandal has tipped the scales further against them. For many, Meghan's actions are seen as reflective of a broader pattern, secretive, manipulative, and willing to twist the truth to fit her desired narrative. The more Meghan tries to distance herself from her past, the more entangled she becomes in it, and the public is growing impatient with her efforts to control the narrative. This shift in perception is significant as it impacts not only Meghan's reputation but also Harry's. Public disillusionment isn't confined to Meghan, extends to Harry, who is increasingly viewed as complicit in her actions. The belief that Harry has abandoned his principles and his family to shield Meghan is damaging his previously strong reputation, making him seem weak and easily influenced. For the Sussexes, the court of public opinion has turned into a battleground. They are struggling as repeated missteps and a reluctance to take responsibility have portrayed them as a couple disconnected from reality, more focused on safeguarding their brand than on being truthful. This shift carries real consequences for their future endeavors, as public support is essential for their ongoing relevance and financial success. Meghan's decision to delete photos with Andrew has only pushed her further away from the already complicated royal relationships. By distancing herself from a connection she found harmful, she also unintentionally showed her mistrust of the royal family. This act can be seen as a clear break, making any chance of reconciling with the Windsors seem more distant. The fallout from this situation has likely made the gap between Meghan and the royal circle, including those who once supported her, even wider. The royal family's strong stance against scandal and its focus on privacy makes Meghan's attempts to control her public image clash with their values. Her actions aren't just seen as personal mistakes, but as direct challenges to the royal code. As Meghan becomes more isolated, it gets harder for her to navigate the royal world, which not only affects her but also puts Harry in a difficult spot, torn between his loyalty to Meghan and the growing divide with his family. The bridges Meghan has burned may never be mended, and each new scandal only makes the impact of that distance more obvious. The royal family's choice to stay silent during these controversies is a perfect example of smart crisis management. By not responding directly, they allow public opinion to take control, distancing themselves from the drama while subtly undermining Meghan and Harry. This approach has worked well, keeping the spotlight on the Sussexes and their ongoing issues. The palace's strategy shows their focus on the long-term goal of protecting the monarchy, letting Meghan and Harry's actions speak for themselves. By avoiding a public confrontation, the royal family maintains its image of grace and self-control, which sharply contrasts with the more fiery public presence of the Sussexes. It's a calculated tactic that shows the palace's skill in handling scandals without getting caught up in them. The palace's strategy also suggests they are willing to let Meghan and Harry's reputations crumble under the weight of their own decisions. As the Sussexes struggle to manage their public image, the monarchy's standing only strengthens, highlighting the royal family as a timeless institution above personal conflicts. Meghan and Harry's future projects could face serious setbacks as a result. Their ventures, from media productions to public speaking, rely heavily on their personal brand, which is now increasingly seen as damaged. Potential partners and sponsors may begin viewing them as risks rather than assets, making it harder to maintain their public careers. For Meghan, whose image has always centered on relatability and empowerment, these constant scandals create a major obstacle. Each new controversy erodes the credibility she has worked to build, making it more challenging for her to succeed in her various efforts. The Sussexes' ability to recover from this latest crisis depends heavily on how they handle the story moving forward. However, with public trust fading, their choices are becoming fewer. The fallout goes beyond just their reputation. The financial impact of a damaged brand is real. Everything from book deals to streaming contracts could be affected. For a couple that has positioned themselves as media powerhouses, the stakes are high and the potential losses could be huge if they can't win back public support. Watching Meghan and Harry's ongoing series of scandals unfold feels like a soap opera that's lost its direction. What started as an intriguing tale of a couple breaking away from royal life has now turned into a chaotic mix of secrets, half-truths, and public blunders. The latest drama involving Meghan's deleted photos and her ties to Prince Andrew is just another chapter in a never-ending saga, leaving many feeling a mix of disbelief and frustration. There's a certain irony in how Meghan and Harry, who left the UK to escape media attention, now find themselves at the heart of a scandal they seem to have played a part in creating. Meghan's actions, deleting photos, hiding parts of her past, and trying to control the narrative only add to the belief that she's hiding something bigger. It's a wound they've caused themselves, but instead of owning up, they continue to shift blame toward the media, the palace, and others, while not taking responsibility. What's most surprising is how they don't seem to realize that their efforts to control the narrative are completely backfiring. Every time Meghan tries to erase a part of her past or Harry speaks out against his family, it sparks more controversy. It feels like they're stuck in a cycle of their own making, and in doing so, they're not only hurting their own reputations, but also pulling the royal family back into the drama they claim to be escaping. Harry's reaction to discovering Meghan's secretive behavior is understandable, but it also sheds light on the deeper issues in their relationship. For a couple that prides itself on being open and modern, there's an unsettling amount of secrecy and manipulation behind the scenes. It's a stark contrast to the image of love and unity they try to portray. If Harry is shocked now, it makes you wonder what else might be hidden, and how long their relationship can endure the ongoing pressure of public scrutiny and private distrust. The royal family's silence is telling. After decades of managing public scandals, they've learned that sometimes the best response is no response. By allowing Meghan and Harry's actions to speak for themselves, the palace is essentially letting them unravel their own image. It's a calculated, cold approach that shows just how outmatched the Sussexes are when it comes to navigating the royal game. At the core of it all, Meghan's constant drive to control her own narrative feels exhausting. The public is beginning to see through the act, and the sympathy that once fueled her rise is quickly fading. It's hard to support someone who always seems to be caught in drama, especially when that drama seems self-made. Meghan's brand, built on empowerment and authenticity, is now clouded by suspicion and controversy, leaving her struggling to find solid ground in a world that no longer buys into her story. The saddest part of this is how much potential Meghan and Harry once had. They could have been true modernizers of the monarchy, a fresh, vibrant presence in a tradition-bound institution. Instead, they become caricatures of themselves, trapped in a cycle of scandal and self-promotion. The latest revelations about Meghan's secretive behavior only serve as another reminder that sometimes the biggest challenges we face are the ones we create ourselves. It's hard not to feel disappointed in Meghan's choices and Harry's seeming inability to see things clearly, and in the lost chance for something far greater. As they continue on this path, there's a hope that they'll step back, reflect, and possibly break the cycle before it's too late. If they don't, their story won't be remembered as one of triumph, but as a cautionary tale of how ambition, secrecy, and an overwhelming need for control can go terribly wrong. With the media spotlight shining brighter than ever, Meghan's every move is being scrutinized. From her calculated relationships to her apparent determination to remain in the public eye, the Duchess of Sussex seems to be navigating a high-stakes game where the rules keep changing. In this analysis, we'll dive into the implications of the rumors surrounding Meghan's affair, look at her broader quest for status and financial security, and consider the toll her actions may be taking on those closest to her, particularly Prince Harry. The name John Fitzpatrick has recently come up in connection with Meghan, sparking widespread speculation about the nature of their relationship. While Meghan's team has downplayed Fitzpatrick as just an acquaintance, rumors continue to swirl, fueled by alleged photos of the two in intimate settings. These images have cast doubt on her denials, raising questions about how close they really are. The specifics of their connection remain unclear, but Fitzpatrick is reportedly a wealthy benefactor who has helped Meghan adjust to life after leaving the royal family. His rumored financial backing and frequent appearances in her social circles suggest Meghan's motives may go beyond friendship. Critics point out that Meghan's relationship with Fitzpatrick could fit a larger pattern of aligning with influential men to boost her image and financial position, a strategy some believe she's employed for years. The possibility that Meghan might be cheating on Harry with Fitzpatrick adds another layer of scandal to an already dramatic storyline. These rumors raise uncomfortable questions about Meghan's loyalty not just to Harry, but to the image of a devoted mother and wife she has so carefully crafted. Meghan, who has long portrayed herself as a victim of media mistreatment and royal rejection, may now face a major shift in public opinion. This latest twist could change how she's seen, transforming her from a misunderstood outsider to a manipulative opportunist. Amidst the infidelity rumors, it's hard to ignore Meghan's calculated efforts to secure financial stability. Since stepping away from royal duties, she and Harry have aggressively pursued commercial opportunities, from Netflix deals to book contracts and speaking engagements. However, behind the glamour of their newfound independence, it's becoming increasingly clear that Meghan's primary focus may not be love or family, but financial security. Many observers have noted that her actions often seem driven by a constant need for monetary gain, whether through leveraging her royal connections or aligning herself with wealthy figures like Fitzpatrick. Meghan's choices suggest someone who is always planning her next financial move. The optics of Meghan distancing herself from Harry while forging connections with powerful men only reinforce the idea that her relationship with the prince was less about love and more about securing her status and finances. Critics argue that her approach to life after royalty reveals a deep-seated insecurity about her future, especially now that she can no longer count on the steady flow of royal wealth. Meghan seems to be scrambling to build a financial empire that will sustain her long after the headlines fade. While the rumors of infidelity are scandalous, they also highlight the lengths to which she is willing to go to ensure her financial comfort, even if it means crossing the lines of her marriage. From the moment she entered the royal spotlight, Meghan has skillfully crafted a narrative that paints her as a strong, independent woman who has been unfairly targeted by a cold and unfeeling institution. However, the cracks in Meghan's narrative are starting to show. The latest rumors about her infidelity and financial motives suggest that her public image is far from the complete picture. It seems to be carefully crafted to hide her true intentions. Meghan's strategic distancing from Harry, whether through solo projects, separate appearances, or rumored affairs with other men, paints a picture of a woman more focused on maintaining her relevance than on nurturing her marriage. Her public persona, which emphasizes themes of empowerment and resilience, sharply contrasts with her private actions, which increasingly appear driven by self-interest. The issue for Meghan is that this discrepancy is becoming harder to ignore. As more stories emerge that contradict her carefully curated image, public trust in her narrative continues to erode. Meghan's attempts to portray herself as a victim lose their impact when viewed alongside her relentless pursuit of status and wealth. For many, it's not just that Meghan is ambitious, it's that her ambitions seem to come at the cost of honesty, loyalty, and genuine connections. As Meghan's actions continue to raise eyebrows, the impact on those around her is impossible to ignore. Prince Harry, once one of the most beloved members of the royal family, has seen his public image suffer dramatically since marrying Meghan. His increasingly strained relationship with his family, combined with the ongoing controversy surrounding his wife, has left him feeling isolated, conflicted, and lost. The rumors of Meghan's infidelity must be a tough pill for Harry to swallow, especially considering the sacrifices he made to support her. His departure from royal life was framed as an act of love and loyalty, a choice to prioritize his wife and children over the strictures of royal duty. However, as Meghan continues to attract controversy, the narrative of a devoted husband starts to resemble that of a man trapped in a toxic cycle, unable to break free from Meghan's increasingly self-destructive behavior. For Harry, the lingering question is how much more he can endure for his loyalty to Meghan. While commendable, this loyalty has come at a significant personal cost. He has alienated his family, tarnished his public reputation, and now faces the unsettling possibility that the woman he sacrificed so much for may not be as committed to their relationship as he is. The rumors of Meghan's involvement with Fitzpatrick are more than just tabloid gossip. They directly challenge the sacrifices Harry has made and the future he envisioned when he chose to step away from royal life. One of the most revealing aspects of Meghan's recent behavior is her apparent desperation to remain in the public eye. As the buzz surrounding her fades and newer, more captivating figures draw the media's attention, Meghan seems to be scrambling to maintain whatever relevance she can. From launching new ventures to participating in high-profile interviews, her efforts reflect a need to stay in the spotlight amid the growing uncertainty about her public image and personal life. Meghan's every move seems carefully calculated to keep her name in the headlines, but with each new controversy, her actions appear increasingly desperate rather than strategic. The rumors of her affair with Fitzpatrick and her ongoing quest for financial security reveal a woman struggling to adjust to life outside the royal bubble. For someone who once basked in the glow of being a global icon, the reality of fading relevance is a tough pill to swallow. Her attempts to cling to the spotlight, whether through questionable relationships or attention-grabbing antics, suggest she fears being forgotten far more than facing any public backlash. As Meghan ages and her public influence diminishes, her actions feel less like those of a powerful independent woman and more like those of someone grasping at straws. The more she fights to maintain her relevance, the more she risks alienating the very audience she desperately seeks to impress. Meghan, once admired for her modern fairy tale romance and bold personality, is now facing growing public fatigue. The ongoing drama, from royal disputes to legal issues, has left many tired of the Sussex story. Her consistent presence in the spotlight, whether intentional or not, has only added to this disillusionment. The recent rumors of infidelity are just the latest in a series of controversies that have overshadowed her efforts to reshape her image. For those who once viewed her as a breath of fresh air in the royal family, Meghan's ongoing association with scandals has become tiresome. What began as the story of a strong, independent woman now feels more like one of someone drawn to chaos, controversy, and attention. Critics argue that her frequent appearance in the headlines reveals not strength, but deep insecurity. Despite presenting herself as a champion for positive change, her recent actions suggest she's more focused on protecting her personal brand than on making a meaningful impact. As the public grows tired of Meghan's constant antics, interest in her is fading. Many feel she is unable to leave behind the drama she's created. With each new scandal, people are left wondering what Meghan truly hopes to achieve after so strongly pursuing independence from royal life. Her ongoing desire for public attention suggests she still relies heavily on the very system she once rejected. The rumors of infidelity and financial scheming paint a picture of a woman whose ambitions are vast but often harmful. Critics believe her goal is not a quiet, dignified life, but rather constant reinvention, driven by an endless need to stay relevant, no matter the cost. For Meghan, each scandal, headline, and new relationship seems like a step toward defining herself on her own terms. But as her actions continue to push the public away and strain her personal connections, one question lingers: how long can she keep up this path? Can Meghan keep burning bridges and stirring up controversy without burning out herself? Or will she eventually realize that her pursuit of relevance has cost her far more than she ever expected? Looking back at her journey from Hollywood actress to Duchess of Sussex, a clear pattern emerges: a relentless ambition clouded by poor decisions and an inability to move on from the past. Meghan's story is that of a woman unafraid to take risks, but lately those risks seem more self-serving than admirable. Despite her talk of empowerment and independence, her actions often reflect deeper insecurities, a fear of becoming irrelevant that drives her to questionable choices and alliances. Meghan's behavior, whether it's the rumored affair with Fitzpatrick or her ongoing pursuit of wealth, reveals a flawed view of power. True power, especially in the public eye, isn't about manipulating headlines or controlling the narrative. It's about earning respect, showing integrity, and committing to something bigger than oneself. Meghan's continued scandals show a duchess still seeking validation in all the wrong places. As she navigates this latest chapter of her tumultuous life, the lessons she chooses to embrace or ignore will shape her legacy. For now, she remains a deeply polarizing figure, loved by some, despised by others, and increasingly lost in the chaos of her own making. Whether Meghan can rise above the noise and truly embody the values she claims to stand for is yet to be seen. One thing is certain: the world will be watching, and her next moves will play a crucial role in defining who she is and who she wants to be in the public's eyes. As Meghan Markle continues to walk the fine line between perception and reality, her actions paint the picture of a woman still evolving. The rumors of infidelity, financial moves, and strategic positioning aren't just tabloid gossip. They offer a glimpse into her mindset, revealing a duchess still struggling with the complexities of fame, love, and legacy. Moving forward, Meghan's challenge will be to align her ambitions with the reality of her public image. With scandals piling up and the public's patience wearing thin, she faces an uncertain future. Every decision she makes now is weighed down by her past, and each mistake risks unraveling the narrative she has carefully built. Whether Meghan can truly reinvent herself or remain trapped in the cycle of scandal and reinvention that has come to define her life remains to be seen. Only time will tell, but the cycle seems far from ending. In this exploration, we'll dive deeper into the allegations of Meghan's infidelity, looking at how her actions may reveal issues of ambition, manipulation, and the fragility of her public image. We'll also reflect on the broader impact this has on Harry, whose unwavering support for Meghan now appears increasingly misguided and potentially harmful to himself. Examining these fresh angles sheds light on Meghan's character and the uncertain future of her already strained relationship with the British royal family. If the rumors of Meghan's affair with John Fitzpatrick are true, it highlights a troubling pattern where self-interest seems to outweigh loyalty and integrity. This alleged affair goes beyond a personal betrayal. It could represent a calculated move that mirrors Meghan's history of using relationships to advance her own goals. The fact that Fitzpatrick is described as a wealthy benefactor hints that Meghan's actions may be more about securing financial stability and social power than emotional connection or passion. This rumored affair can be seen as another example of Meghan's readiness to use personal connections for personal gain, even if it comes at the expense of her marriage. Meghan has always been skilled at navigating social circles to her advantage, and her alleged involvement with Fitzpatrick seems to continue that pattern. For her, relationships appear to be less about emotional bonds and more about their transactional value, what the other person can provide in terms of status, wealth, or public image. This behavior points to a manipulative mindset where loyalty and commitment take a backseat to personal ambition. Critics argue that Meghan's marriage to Harry was her ultimate power move, giving her global recognition and a platform she likely could not have achieved on her own. The allegations of infidelity suggest that Meghan's ambitions haven't diminished, they've simply shifted to suit her new environment. If Fitzpatrick offers a more lucrative or beneficial opportunity, it seems possible Meghan might prioritize that over the commitment she's already made. Meghan seems willing to pursue her ambitions regardless of the personal cost to those around her. While her alleged affair with Fitzpatrick has grabbed the public's attention, the true tragedy lies in the emotional toll it may be taking on Prince Harry. Harry has always positioned himself as Meghan's steadfast protector, sacrificing his royal duties, family ties, and public standing to support her without question. Yet Meghan's actions suggest that this loyalty might not be returned in the way Harry had hoped. Harry's devotion to Meghan has often been portrayed as a romantic act of rebellion against a rigid institution, but the situation is far more complicated. If the rumors of her infidelity are true, it casts doubt on the very foundation of their relationship and leaves Harry facing a painful betrayal. His decision to sever ties with his family, move to another continent, and endure public criticism was all rooted in the belief that he was defending and prioritizing his marriage. Now, he may be forced to reevaluate whether that belief was ever truly mutual. The revelation of infidelity would shatter the illusion Harry has held, forcing him to confront the painful reality that his sacrifices may have been in vain. This betrayal cuts deeper than personal heartbreak, it represents an emotional crisis. Harry's decision to stand by Meghan has shaped his life after leaving the royal family, and any sign of disloyalty on her part undermines the entire narrative of their journey together. Now, Harry finds himself in a vulnerable position, torn between his love for Meghan and the unsettling possibility that her commitment to him was far more conditional than he ever believed. The timing of Meghan's rumored affair raises questions about her broader strategy and motivations, especially as her public image continues to suffer under the weight of one scandal after another. Her alleged involvement with Fitzpatrick appears less like a simple romantic mistake and more like a calculated move to secure her future. As her relevance fades and her relationship with Harry grows increasingly strained, Meghan's actions seem like a desperate effort to keep control of her narrative and ensure her financial security by aligning herself with a wealthy and influential figure like Fitzpatrick. Critics argue that Meghan is hedging her bets, preparing for the possibility that her marriage to Harry could collapse. Fitzpatrick offers not only financial stability but also social standing, serving as a potential safety net. Meghan's critics see this as part of a larger pattern in her life, constantly seeking out the next opportunity and positioning herself to gain, no matter the cost to those around her. However, this approach comes with significant risks. Meghan's strategy of relying on personal relationships to maintain her status is a dangerous game, one that could easily backfire if her true intentions are exposed. The public's patience with her antics is wearing thin, and her increasingly obvious efforts to manipulate her situation only deepen the distrust. For Meghan, the cost of these calculated risks may soon outweigh any potential rewards, leaving her more isolated and discredited than ever before. The ongoing rumors of infidelity are just the latest in a long line of controversies that have severely damaged her credibility. While she once garnered public sympathy as a victim of royal mistreatment and media harassment, her recent actions have eroded much of that goodwill. The allegations of an affair with Fitzpatrick are particularly harmful because they undermine the very narrative Meghan has worked so hard to build, a story of love, loyalty, and defiance against the odds. Public sentiment toward Meghan has shifted dramatically as each new scandal reveals inconsistencies in her story. The more she tries to control the narrative, the more her actions seem to contradict the values she claims to uphold. Her repeated calls for privacy ring hollow against the backdrop of her ongoing need for media attention and her attempts to position herself as a wronged wife, especially in light of rumors about her own indiscretions. As the public grows increasingly disillusioned with Meghan, the image she once held as a relatable modern royal has shifted to one of manipulation and self-interest. The allegations of infidelity only reinforce this perception, portraying her as someone willing to betray even those closest to her if it serves her larger ambitions. For Meghan, the challenge ahead is not only to defend herself against these latest claims, but also to rebuild a public image that has been systematically torn down by her own actions. As the focus remains on her alleged affair, it will be a difficult path to regain the trust and support she once enjoyed. The implications for the broader royal family are significant. Meghan's actions have consistently pulled the royals into her web of controversy, forcing them to address issues that are both personal and highly public. The rumors of infidelity are just the latest example of how Meghan's behavior has put the entire institution on the defensive, raising doubts about the royal family's ability to manage its own members and maintain its carefully curated image. For King Charles, Prince William, and the rest of the senior royals, Meghan represents a continuous challenge to their authority and public standing. Her actions, whether intentional or not, compel the family to confront uncomfortable truths about loyalty, integrity, and the complexities of modern relationships. The infidelity allegations add yet another layer of complexity to an already tense situation, prompting questions about how the royal family can safeguard its reputation while navigating such a high-profile scandal. Meghan's persistent visibility and her relentless pursuit of attention suggest that the royal family will likely remain entangled in her dramas for the foreseeable future. For an institution that values discretion and stability, her antics are a constant source of disruption, one that the royals must navigate carefully to maintain their credibility with the public. Additionally, the allegations of Meghan's infidelity have inevitably sparked speculation about the state of her marriage to Harry. Although the couple has publicly presented a united front, the ongoing scandals imply that all may not be well behind closed doors. Meghan's rumored affair with Fitzpatrick raises tough questions about trust, loyalty, and the future of their relationship, issues that the couple can no longer afford to ignore. Harry's unwavering support of Meghan has been a defining aspect of their bond, but the rumors of betrayal challenge the very foundations of that support. For Harry, the realization that Meghan may not be as committed to their marriage as he once thought would be a devastating blow, forcing him to reassess the sacrifices he has made and the path he has chosen. The strain caused by Meghan's actions, combined with the constant media scrutiny, has placed their marriage under immense pressure that may ultimately prove unsustainable. For Meghan, the challenge will be to navigate these turbulent waters without losing the one person who has consistently stood by her. However, as rumors of infidelity continue to circulate, it's evident that the road ahead will not be easy. The couple's ability to weather this latest storm will depend not only on their love for each other, but also on their willingness to confront the uncomfortable truths that have come to define their relationship. Reflecting on Meghan Markle's alleged infidelity and her ongoing pattern of manipulation, it's clear that her actions have far-reaching consequences, not just for her marriage to Harry, but also for her public image and her broader ambitions. Meghan's relentless pursuit of status, wealth, and control has led her down a path where personal relationships are treated as disposable assets, valued only as long as they meet her immediate needs. While this approach may yield short-term benefits, it has resulted in a trail of broken connections, damaged reputations, and growing public disillusionment. Meghan's story illustrates ambition unchecked by self-awareness, a cautionary tale of how the relentless chase for personal gain can ultimately lead to self-destruction. Her alleged affair with Fitzpatrick, if true, is not just a betrayal of Harry, but also a stark reminder of the lengths to which Meghan will go to maintain her relevance and secure her future. Whether it was something she said or how she presented herself among Hollywood's elite, the specifics remain unclear. Still, it's evident that her attempts to fit into the world of A-list celebrities did not go as planned. This incident is just the latest in a series of public missteps that have solidified her reputation as a divisive figure, both in Hollywood and beyond. The details of what occurred during Meghan's appearance at the Emmys are murky, but sources close to the event suggest that her behavior did not sit well with the star-studded audience. There are claims that her interactions with high-profile guests or her remarks on stage were seen as inappropriate, arrogant, or simply out of touch with the evening's atmosphere. Eyewitness accounts describe an uncomfortable tension in the room, with Meghan's demeanor seemingly rubbing many attendees the wrong way. Speculation abounds that she may have come across as condescending or overly self-important traits that don't endear one to a room full of established stars who have spent decades earning their place in the spotlight. Regardless of the specifics, one thing is clear: the reaction was swift and unforgiving. The boos that erupted as Meghan left the stage starkly contrasted with the typically warm receptions presenters receive at such events. It was an embarrassing moment that only added fuel to the fire. For those who have criticized Meghan's attempts to navigate Hollywood's complex social dynamics, she has consistently tried to present herself as a relatable, down-to-earth figure capable of bridging the gap between royalty and celebrity. However, incidents like the one at the Emmys suggest that Hollywood isn't buying it. In an industry that values authenticity and star power, Meghan's efforts to ingratiate herself with the Hollywood elite seem to be falling flat. Part of the issue may stem from Meghan's own sense of self-importance. She appears to believe that her status as a former royal automatically grants her a place among Hollywood's A-list. Yet in celebrity culture, status is earned, not inherited. Meghan's relatively brief stint as a royal does not carry the same weight as the years of hard work, talent, and credibility that many established stars have accumulated. Moreover, her attempts to position herself as both a Hollywood insider and a social activist often come off as forced and insincere. She has struggled to find a niche where she is both accepted and respected, resulting in a series of awkward public appearances and interactions that reinforce the perception that she's out of her depth. This isn't the first time Meghan has found herself in an uncomfortable situation. Time and again, she has shown a knack for alienating those around her, whether in royal circles, Hollywood events, or even within her own staff. Her behavior at the Emmys is just the latest example of a pattern that many have come to recognize and criticize. Critics have accused Meghan of being overly demanding, quick to take offense, and unable to handle the give and take that comes with being part of a high-profile community. Her lack of awareness about herself makes things even worse. She often doesn't realize how her words and actions affect others, which leaves her open to criticism and ridicule. Meghan likes to take charge of conversations, lecture people, and act like she knows everything, making many wonder if she understands how to play the game of Hollywood. Instead of making friends, she seems to create more enemies with each public event. And where is Prince Harry in all of this? He stands right beside her, offering support no matter how many times she trips up. Harry's role as Meghan's supporter is becoming clearer, and many people see his loyalty as more of a problem than a help. Once a well-liked figure, Harry now appears as a sidekick in Meghan's drama-filled life, often seen agreeing with her and defending her actions while ignoring her mistakes. While this looks like the behavior of a caring husband, it also shows a refusal to see the truth and make needed changes. Instead of gently guiding her or helping her pick up on social cues, Harry continues to support her. No matter how bad things get, it seems he can't or won't challenge her, which only strengthens her worst habits. By doing this, Harry isn't just part of Meghan's public slip-ups, but is also getting pulled down with her. The backlash from the Emmy incident has been quick and harsh. Social media buzz with jokes about Meghan's performance, and entertainment news has picked apart everything she said and did. The booing has become a clear sign of her growing troubles with the public and the entertainment world. This latest embarrassment is more than just a small mistake. The way many people see Meghan reveals a deeper issue. She often comes across as someone who doesn't grasp the importance of humility or the need to adapt to the spaces she's trying to succeed in. While her actions could be seen as confident or bold in other situations, in Hollywood they're viewed as arrogance and entitlement. The risk for Meghan is that she could become more known for stirring up controversy than for any real talent or achievement. The Emmy incident is just one more example, adding to a pattern that raises questions about her ability to handle high-profile environments without causing offense or drama. Meghan's recent path serves as a warning of what can happen when ambition outpaces ability. She's been clear about her desire to make a big impact, whether through philanthropy, media, or celebrity, but she often seems to fall short, leaving people wondering if she truly has the skills or mindset to reach her goals. Meghan's behavior at the Emmys and the backlash that followed suggests she might be overestimating her influence while overlooking the value of humility and self-awareness. In her pursuit of relevance and validation, she seems to have distanced herself from the very people whose support she needs. To change this narrative, Meghan will have to take a hard look at herself and make some changes. This might mean rethinking how she handles public appearances, being more open to advice, and understanding that respect is something that's earned, not demanded. As for what lies ahead for Meghan and Harry, if their past actions are any clue, they will likely continue down the same road, reinforcing their narrative of being misunderstood or wronged. However, this approach is wearing thin with the public, who are growing tired of the ongoing drama and attention-seeking behavior. Meghan's biggest challenge now is figuring out how to rebuild her public image and restore her credibility. This won't be easy, especially with her past behavior and the growing number of people who seem fed up with her actions. To turn things around, she'll need to adjust her attitude and strategy, which could be tough for someone so set in their ways. Harry's future seems closely linked to Meghan's. If he continues to support her behavior, he risks losing the remaining goodwill people have toward him. Many who once liked him are now starting to see him as just another part of Meghan's quest for fame. He too faces a critical choice stick by his wife no matter what, or distance himself from the chaos. Looking at this latest incident, it's hard to ignore that Meghan might be her own worst enemy. She has everything she needs to build a meaningful and impactful public image, but she often throws away those chances by acting in ways that push people away instead of drawing them in. Her behavior at the Emmys, whatever it was, is just another example of a pattern of self-sabotage. Instead of approaching situations with grace and humility, she comes off as defensive, competitive, and disconnected. Until she recognizes this and makes a real effort to change, she will likely continue to face boos instead of applause. The public's patience with Meghan is wearing thin. The initial fascination and sympathy that came with her entry into the royal family have mostly faded, replaced by skepticism, frustration, and even hostility for some. The booing at the Emmy shows just how much things have shifted. People are tired of the drama, the constant complaints, and the endless search for attention. Meghan and Harry once captured the public's imagination with their story of breaking away from royal life, but now they're in danger of becoming a cautionary tale about the risks of overreaching and overexposure. While much has already been said about Meghan Markle's latest debacle at the 2024 Emmy Awards, where she was reportedly booed off stage, there are still plenty of layers to this story that deserve a closer look. This wasn't just an awkward moment in the spotlight, it highlighted a bigger issue that has come to define Meghan's public image: a mix of arrogance, tone deafness, and an all-consuming pursuit of fame. Let's dig into the underlying reasons behind this Emmy embarrassment and explore why Meghan keeps clashing with both Hollywood and the public. One can't discuss the boos Meghan received at the Emmys without addressing the obvious: her apparent overestimation of her own significance. She seems to believe that simply showing up should command respect, admiration, and automatic acceptance. But Hollywood, a place where stars shine based on talent, not titles, doesn't work like that. In this world, skill and charisma are what matter, not royal connections. Meghan appeared to think she would be embraced as one of Hollywood's elite, but the reaction from the crowd suggests they saw her as an outsider trying to use her royal ties to stay relevant. Her marriage to Prince Harry, once an asset that helped raise her profile, is now seen by many in the industry as something she leans on to keep attention. This shows a deeper issue: Meghan's lack of self-awareness about her standing in Hollywood. She wants to be treated like an A-lister, but without the body of work or widespread public admiration that typically comes with that status. Another puzzling move in her public strategy has been her attempt to blend activism with celebrity. While it's admirable for public figures to advocate for meaningful causes, Meghan's approach often feels more performative than sincere. At the Emmys, where many attendees have dedicated their careers to using their platforms for real change, Meghan's presence likely felt shallow. Her speeches often sound overly rehearsed, filled with trendy buzzwords, but lacking genuine passion or depth. She seems more focused on being seen as a change maker rather than putting in the hard, often unglamorous work that true activism requires. This lack of authenticity was likely noticeable to an audience well-versed in spotting superficiality. Meghan has a tendency to jump into issues without a deep understanding or long-term commitment, reinforcing the impression that she's more interested in being perceived as a humanitarian than actually being one. Another layer to the booing incident at the Emmys is Meghan's apparent desperation for validation from a Hollywood elite that has never fully embraced her. She finds herself in a paradox, wanting to distance herself from the British royal family, while also craving the kind of global celebrity status her royal connections initially helped boost. However, Hollywood operates by its own set of rules, and Meghan seems to be struggling to fit in. Her need for acceptance and validation is evident, but in Hollywood, Respect isn't easily handed out, especially not to those seen as self-serving or opportunistic. By trying too hard to integrate herself into this world, Meghan risks coming off as desperate and insincere, two qualities that are often unforgivable in an industry built on authenticity and charisma. The booing at the Emmys could be seen as Hollywood's collective response to Meghan's attempts to fit in a clear message that respect and admiration aren't granted by title alone but must be earned through real talent, contribution, and humility. One of the more subtle yet important aspects of Meghan's public journey is her apparent confusion over her own identity. Is she a humanitarian, a media mogul, a celebrity, or a rebellious royal? Meghan seems to want to be all of these things at once, but in trying to juggle so many roles, she often comes across as inauthentic in each one. At the Emmys, this confusion likely showed up in her awkward interactions and unclear messaging. The audience might have been left wondering, what exactly is Meghan trying to be? Is she promoting a cause, networking with Hollywood's elite, or just soaking up the spotlight? This lack of clarity makes it hard for people to relate to or even understand her. In a world where clear branding and messaging are crucial, Meghan's mixed signals are working against her. This isn't just a strategic mistake, it's a personal one. Meghan seems to be caught in an identity crisis, unsure of how to position herself in the public eye. Until she figures out who she really is and what she stands for, her attempts to fit into any world, whether royal, Hollywood, or otherwise, will continue to feel forced and unconvincing. The irony of Meghan's situation is hard to miss. She left the British royal family claiming she wanted more privacy, yet she steps into the spotlight whenever it suits her. This contradiction isn't just confusing, it's become a source of public frustration. The Emmys incident is just another example of this growing tension. Meghan's latest appearance at the Emmys is just another example of her seeking attention while simultaneously complaining about the scrutiny she faces. Her calls for privacy have always felt insincere, especially when she continues to show up at high-profile events, engage in public disputes, and release personal documentaries. The audience at the Emmys may have simply been reacting to this contradiction, showing their fatigue with being asked to care about someone who seems more focused on herself. It's hard to feel sympathy for someone who decries media intrusion while doing everything possible to stay in the public eye. This inconsistency damages Meghan's credibility and makes people question whether her desire for privacy is genuine or just a convenient way to avoid criticism. One of the biggest criticisms against Meghan is that she lacks authenticity. While Hollywood may be a place of fantasy, it still values sincerity, hard work, and a certain level of realness that Meghan seems to lack. Many view her as a social climber using her royal title as a shortcut to fame rather than earning her place through talent and effort. This perception likely played a role at the Emmys, where the audience filled with industry veterans who'd spent years earning their success was unimpressed by what they saw as Meghan's entitled attitude. In a town that loves a good underdog story, Meghan's perceived privilege and sense of entitlement make her difficult to root for. Instead of winning over hearts and minds, she seems to be pushing people away, both in Hollywood and beyond. Her brand is losing its shine, not because she lacks potential, but because she has failed to connect with the very people she's trying to impress. Until Meghan can strip away the layers of pretense and embrace who she really is, she'll continue to face rejection from those who value sincerity over superficiality. Let's not overlook Harry's role in all of this. While Meghan is the one in the spotlight, Harry remains her loyal companion, standing by her side through it all. But in his silence, he's also complicit in her public missteps. Harry's unwavering support can sometimes look like blind loyalty, a refusal to acknowledge the damage being done to their shared image by not offering a moderating voice. He seems content to let Meghan lead them both down a path that's increasingly filled with public disapproval. Perhaps he believes his duty is to support his wife no matter what, but in doing so, he's become an accomplice in her public missteps. A bit of introspection on his part could serve them both well. If there's one lesson Meghan should take from this latest public setback, it's the pressing need for reinvention. She's quickly burning through any goodwill, and her constant need to be at the center of every narrative is wearing thin. The booing at the Emmys wasn't just a reaction to a single incident, it was a plea from the public for something real, something that doesn't feel like another performance. Meghan has reached a critical turning point. She can either continue down a path filled with contradictions and controversy, or she can pause, reassess, and find a new, more authentic way to connect with the world. The second option is harder, but it's also the one with the greatest chance for genuine redemption. Perhaps the most telling part of the Emmys debacle is the growing sense of apathy surrounding Meghan. What was once curiosity and intrigue about her role as a royal outsider has now turned into fatigue. The public is tired of the constant drama, the endless need for validation, and the sense of entitlement that seems to follow her wherever she goes. This growing indifference may be the biggest threat to Meghan's brand. People aren't angry or outraged anymore, they're simply bored. And in the world of celebrity, nothing is worse than becoming irrelevant. The boos at the 2024 Emmys weren't just about disapproval, they signaled that people are starting to tune out. The question now is whether Meghan will take this as a wake-up call and change course, or she'll continue on her current path, convinced that the problem lies with everyone else, not her. Right now, Meghan seems comfortable playing the misunderstood maverick, railing against perceived injustices and seeking attention wherever she can find it. But unless she learns to adapt, showing more humility and valuing genuine connection over constant controversy, she may end up more isolated and irrelevant than ever before. There's a stark contrast to be seen in that image of Meghan assisting Harry on safari surrounded by nature and wildlife. Just by looking at her, it was clear she was uncomfortable, far from the glitz and glamour she seems to prefer, perhaps even missing a Starbucks. Meanwhile, Harry appeared to be in his element, enjoying a life that aligned more with his true passions. This was the path Harry had likely envisioned for himself until Meghan dangled a different life in front of him. In trying to balance this delicate relationship between who they truly are and who they wish to be seen as, they both risk losing not just the public's interest, but a sense of themselves in the process. Meghan once claimed that the life of public service and charity was what she wanted too. During their engagement, she confidently said she was ready to get down to business from the start. But now, with Harry fleeing back to California, spending lavishly, it's clear things didn't go as planned. What's interesting is that Harry had a vision, a model for their future together. He believed that he and Meghan could lead a life that balanced both royal duties and personal freedom. So where did it all go wrong? Let me explain. Harry's plan was actually quite simple. He wanted a half-in, half-out arrangement where he and Meghan could still serve as royals while also pursuing their own interests. He even presented this idea to Queen Elizabeth II, thinking it could work for both of them. However, the Queen, sharp and experienced, quickly saw through Meghan's intentions. Regardless of how one feels about the royal train trip, I can share some insights into what happened behind the scenes, though some details are confidential. The reality is that the Queen had figured Meghan out. She knew Meghan wasn't truly cut out for the demands of royal life, especially the less glamorous parts like waking up early, meeting people, and handling public duties as the Duchess of Edinburgh does, away from the spotlight. Meghan was never comfortable with the royal walkabouts, where it became clear she was always on the lookout for the camera's red light, more focused on being seen than on the service itself. Once you realize this, it's obvious what it was all about for Meghan from the beginning: attention, not the quiet, meaningful work of royal service. This realization helps explain why Harry's plan never took off. It wasn't just about the logistics of balancing royal duties with independence, it was about a fundamental difference in values and priorities. Harry seemed to model his vision for his and Meghan's life after another royal couple, Zara and Mike Tyndall. Mike, a genuine and down-to-earth guy from Wakefield in Yorkshire, has a straightforward demeanor that Harry admired. What he found most appealing about Zara and Mike was how they managed to enjoy the privileges of royal life while still leading a relatively normal existence. Since Zara is the daughter of Princess Anne, who is the Princess Royal, they get to attend major royal events without being burdened by formal titles, which gives them a different kind of freedom. This setup allowed them to embrace a more relaxed lifestyle while still being part of the royal family circle. It's clear that Harry saw this as a potential model for himself and Meghan, hoping they could balance royal duties with personal pursuits in a similar way. However, the realities of Meghan's ambitions and the public's expectations created a stark contrast that Harry perhaps didn't fully anticipate. The concept that Princess Anne had for her own children was something Harry admired and wanted to propose to Queen Elizabeth II. He liked the idea of a balanced life, similar to what Zara and Mike Tyndall enjoyed. However, the Queen wasn't enthusiastic about this plan. She understood the British monarchy's need for support and relevance in the 21st century. Additionally, she recognized that Meghan had no intention of splitting her time between the UK and the US. Standing on the balcony for events like Trooping the Colour would have been a significant privilege, but the Queen had a unique perspective. After sitting on the throne for 70 years, she had witnessed countless challenges and changes. Harry was disappointed to realize that his vision of a model similar to Zara and Mike's would never come to fruition. It became increasingly clear to everyone, except perhaps Harry, that Meghan was more focused on the spotlight than on fulfilling royal duties. From the moment she entered the picture, it was evident that she was already rehearsing for her next big role, positioning herself as the perpetual victim and star of her own drama. The engagement interview was the tipping point for many who were still undecided. Her exaggerated smiles, excessive charm, and constant hints about modernizing the monarchy showed signs of someone eager for the title without the hard work, and the glamour without the grind. Princess Anne, a woman who has navigated her fair share of palace drama, recognized Meghan's act from the very beginning. She saw through the facade, understanding that Meghan's intentions were not aligned with the values of the royal family. You've got to admire Princess Anne, she doesn't hold back. Her line, "I never forget your face, but I'm willing to forget yours," was spot on. Harry, bless him, seems either blinded by love or simply too naive to see that he's become just another prop in Meghan's story. In her relentless pursuit of relevance, he fell for her Hollywood charm, completely unaware that everyone else could see through her ambitions. It's almost tragic to watch him scramble to keep pace with her ever-changing narratives, defending her at every opportunity while she strategically distances him from his family, his responsibilities, and his dignity. Meanwhile, Meghan continues her performance, hopping from one stage to another, sharing tales of royal victimhood to anyone who will listen, all the while oblivious to the fact that her act is starting to wear thin. Harry stands by, clapping like a fool at the end of each performance, unaware that he's the one being played. And so the show goes on, amusing those who have seen through it all. From the start, Meghan entered the royal scene with dreams of tiaras, castles, and the title of princess. She believed she would waltz into the palace, be adored by everyone, and stand shoulder to shoulder with Catherine. She fancied herself a modern-day Cinderella, only to discover that being a working royal is less about red carpets and more about hard work and duty. When it became clear that she wouldn't be an instant royal superstar, treated like a queen without a crown, she resorted to the behavior of a spoiled diva. Meghan threw an epic tantrum, and what a tantrum it was. Instead of adapting to her new role, she decided to rewrite the script to suit her own desires. How dare they not cater to her whims? How dare they expect her to earn her place, just as Catherine did with grace and dignity? Meghan wanted everything handed to her on a silver platter: the title, the prestige, and the global adoration. When the palace didn't instantly make her the star of the royal show, she didn't wage war on the institution that welcomed her. Instead, she targeted Catherine, the one person who had quietly and elegantly done the work. For years, Meghan struggled with playing second fiddle, especially to Catherine, who embodies everything she wishes she could be: poised, respected, and effortlessly beloved by the public. So Meghan chose to make Catherine her target, spinning tales of mistreatment and victimhood, all while ignoring the fact that Catherine was simply doing her job, one that Meghan found either too difficult or boring. Now we're witnessing the fallout of Meghan's tantrum turned vendetta. Instead of embracing her role, she burned every bridge behind her, dragging Harry along for the ride. Together, they've launched a campaign not just against the royal family, but against common sense itself, constantly complaining about how unfairly they've been treated while living in their multi-million-dollar mansion in California. Meghan has repeatedly shown that if she can't be the queen of the castle, she'll do her best to tear it down from the outside. Meanwhile, the drama continues to unfold. Harry plays the supporting role, seemingly unaware that Meghan's obsession with being equal to Catherine is less about equality and more about envy. Meghan's battle isn't just against Catherine, it's against anyone who dared to tell her no. Thus, we witness a never-ending spectacle of Meghan versus the world, where she is both the director and the star of her own tragic soap opera. Part of the trouble is that she seems clueless about the traditions and history of the royal family. It's disappointing that Harry hasn't informed or taught Meghan about his family, which might have helped her feel more comfortable. Unless, of course, they had already made plans to leave the UK, or to put it plainly, her plans to exit Windsor and the UK. Love can be blind, and given her previous marriage, she likely knows the ins and outs of manipulating someone in his position. Karma seems like a fitting hope in this situation, especially considering there are children involved. In the court of public opinion, Meghan Markle has become one of the most polarizing figures of our time. Once hailed as a fresh face within the British royal family, she has since gained a reputation for drama, discord, and diva-like behavior, leading to many accusations of bullying and a perceived inability to collaborate with others. Controversy seems to follow her at every turn. However, the spotlight isn't solely on her. Prince Harry is increasingly viewed as complicit and enabler of her behavior who appears powerless or unwilling to address the chaos she creates. From the glittering lights of Hollywood to the regal halls of the British monarchy, Meghan Markle's journey has been anything but smooth. Initially embraced by the public for her modern style and outspoken personality, her narrative has taken a dramatic turn. Meghan quickly became a controversial figure facing numerous critics. People from Hollywood and former royal staff have painted an unsettling picture of someone who is not only hard to work with but also tends to create dissatisfaction wherever she goes. The accusations against her are harsh. She has been described as a bully lacking basic kindness in how she treats others. Reports say she often resorts to swearing and putting people down if they don't meet her demands or expectations. This behavior hasn't just isolated her from colleagues, but has also made it harder for her to find support for her projects. What's notable is how consistent these complaints are, whether in Hollywood, the UK, or elsewhere. Meghan seems to foster an environment that feels toxic and unsustainable. It's not just about her style, it's about something deeper, or maybe something missing. She's gained a reputation for being tough, dismissive, and unwilling to hear opposing views. Critics have even pointed out her manipulative ways, suggesting a pattern of behavior that goes beyond just being assertive. They claim she regularly lies, plays mind games, and diminishes those around her to keep control. It's a classic case of a bully taking pleasure in power and control, often targeting the most vulnerable to assert dominance. Her former staff's stories feel more like reality TV drama than the respectful world of royal service. Meghan is said to have no tolerance for those who question her choices or challenge her ideas. Instead, she creates an atmosphere of fear where people either don't dare to speak up or are too worn out to keep working with her. This is especially troubling given her position of power and the platform she has. Her actions seem to reflect a deep need for validation and control, traits that make it difficult to build a healthy, cooperative environment. As a result, she has left behind a trail of broken relationships and failed projects, highlighting the dysfunction she's created. While much of the criticism focuses on Meghan, Prince Harry is not without blame. Once loved by many in the UK, Harry is now often seen as complicit in her behavior. Instead of helping her manage her more abrasive habits, he has become her biggest supporter, agreeing with her no matter the cost. His role in this is complicated. On one hand, he deeply loves Meghan and feels a strong sense of loyalty to protect her. On the other hand, his constant backing of her actions, even when harmful, has only added to the drama and controversies surrounding them. By standing by her through every scandal, argument, and questionable decision, Harry has tied himself to her choices, whether they are right or wrong. Critics argue that. Harry's unwavering support for Meghan has led many to believe that he lacks independent judgment. People often see him as being completely under Meghan's control, to the point where he no longer seems to have his own voice. This impression is only strengthened by his willingness to ignore her more troubling behaviors, which suggests that he either doesn't realize the harm being caused or simply doesn't care. Another common criticism of Meghan is her apparent disconnect from reality, often described as flawed reasoning. She seems to believe that she is always right, regardless of any evidence to the contrary. This delusional self-view is especially concerning because it fuels her confrontational behavior and keeps her stuck in a cycle of conflict. Meghan seems to believe in her own narrative that she is a misunderstood genius whose potential is being blocked by those around her. This mindset might explain why she lashes out at anyone who doesn't share her vision or meet her expectations. Meghan often portrays herself as a victim in every situation, shifting the blame onto others while refusing to take responsibility for her actions. This is a common trait of narcissistic behavior, the inability to handle criticism paired with a strong need for admiration and validation. Her constant desire to be seen, heard, and validated likely stems from insecurity, driving her to seek attention and affirmation, often at the cost of those around her. While Meghan and Harry's relationship is often described as one of mutual support and devotion, some question whether there's more to it. Some suggest that their bond is less about love and more about toxic codependency. Harry, who has struggled with his own sense of identity and purpose within the royal family, may see Meghan as his savior, someone who gives him direction and meaning. In return, Meghan seems to enjoy the attention and platform that come from being connected to Harry. However, this dynamic comes with its problems. Harry seems to have lost his sense of self, becoming more of an accessory to Meghan's ambitions rather than an independent figure. He appears ready to follow her lead, even when her choices lead to damaging their public image or personal well-being. Their relationship seems to have evolved into a symbiotic arrangement, where both feed off each other's need for attention and validation. Meghan stirs up the drama and controversy, while Harry plays the role of unwavering supporter. The royal connection and media attention seem to be a mutually beneficial arrangement for Meghan and Harry, but one that appears headed toward conflict and chaos. Meghan has often opened up about her struggles with mental health, which has drawn both sympathy and criticism. While many admire her openness, others feel she uses these struggles as a way to deflect criticism and avoid taking responsibility. Her frequent mentions of mental health have sparked debate, with some believing she uses her vulnerabilities not to seek understanding but to excuse her actions. This has led to accusations that she exploits genuine mental health issues to sway public opinion. The problem with this is that it risks trivializing mental health, turning it into a tool for gaining sympathy. In doing so, Meghan might unintentionally undermine the cause she claims to support, casting doubt on her true intentions. One of the main criticisms she faces is the belief that she surrounds herself with people who either agree with her entirely or are too afraid to disagree. This creates an echo chamber where Meghan is insulated from any opposing views, allowing her to continue believing that she's always right and that any failures are due to others' mistakes, not her own. This way of thinking is risky because it hinders growth and self-awareness. Without constructive feedback or the willingness to accept criticism, Meghan is unlikely to change her behavior and is bound to repeat the same mistakes, expecting different results, a classic definition of insanity. This environment is reinforced by Harry's constant support. As her strongest defender, he reinforces her belief that she's always the victim, never at fault. Together, they create a feedback loop where negative behavior is never questioned, only intensified. Meghan has positioned herself as a compassionate advocate for causes like mental health, women's rights, and social justice. However, critics argue that her compassion seems selective, applied generously when it benefits her and withheld when it does not. For instance, her public support for certain causes is often accompanied by media coverage, which raises questions about her true motivations. Meghan is often seen carefully crafting her public image through staged photo opportunities. Yet, when it comes to interacting with those closer to her, such as former staff members, colleagues, or even family, she is often perceived as distant, harsh, and unforgiving. This contrast has caused many to doubt the sincerity of her compassion, suggesting it may be more about managing her public image than genuinely reflecting her values. Looking back on Meghan's journey, it's hard not to notice a pattern of self-sabotage. Her story could have been one of triumph, a biracial woman entering the British royal family, using her platform for positive change and bringing new life to an age-old institution. Instead, it has turned into a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition, arrogance, and the pitfalls of believing in one's own hype. Meghan seems to have played a key role in her own downfall, consistently making decisions that push people away instead of winning them over. Critics describe her behavior as manipulative, dishonest, and overbearing traits that have turned potential allies into opponents and wasted much of the initial goodwill that surrounded her. Whether Meghan and Harry realize the damage they're doing to their own reputation is unclear. What is evident, though, is that their actions, from constant complaints to public disputes, only reinforce the idea that they crave attention more than making any real impact. For now, they seem satisfied to play their roles in this ongoing drama, but the real question is, how long can they maintain this before the public grows weary of their behavior? Their story is one of unfulfilled potential, a saga of self-destruction unfolding before the world. Some watch with fascination, others with frustration, all waiting to see what the next chapter of this never-ending royal spectacle will bring. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching our videos, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content.